All right. Hello to those of you watching, mentors, students, and faculty alike. We are Team Soundbyte, and this is our February vlog. This will be our fourth vlog over the project. All right, so let's jump to the next slide, please. All right, so what we're doing. So our team will provide creators and hobbyists with a tool that prescribes audio files to complement a given song while mixing. The goal is to improve the workflow of the artists while being a utility for DJs in the future. So our roles and responsibilities are as follows. Brandon Clark, that's myself, and I'll be mainly responsible for the machine learning of the project as well as the science, research, and development related to that. Next is Jiwoon Kim, which will primarily be working on front-end design and development, as well as some back-end development. And finally, Mason Lane, who's acting as our Scrum Master, doing the back-end and the front-end architecture, and helping a little bit with the back end and machine learning development. Anyhow, we're running on bi-weekly sprints, and this marks the middle of our sixth sprint.
So, just a quick rundown of our status. I think Brian can handle that.
There was some directory bug. We have conflict during initialization between Windows and Unix-like machines. And initialization cannot be fully functional until we have working feature extraction. And another one is testing. We need to work out an adequate testing strategy for both the interface and machine learning.
And to a quick summary of what status would be about to go along with your description, yellow, being that we're confident in most areas, while also worried about others. In summation, we appear to be catching up after our initial delay in January, and hope to have those goals completed very soon. The progress was too slow during our December 14th scrum, and furthermore, machine learning milestones have suffered due to this delay. Having put too much attention in certain areas, I wasn't able to accomplish some of what I wanted to get done, which prevented me from also assisting in that area. So, in terms of changes, Brian also can handle that.
Yeah. So Electron.js had some different mechanism to move the page location. So to be clear for this, I had to have time to explore it. Even there was another issue on path name convention that I mentioned earlier, and yeah, between the different OSs. They caused the delay of the schedule, but it has been solved. Currently, the result page has been added some design components by CSS and HTML. And Brandon, yeah.
So, speaking to some of the changes we've had to make in terms of our goals, we have, in order to further accommodate our delays and expected due dates, we have elected to withdraw our stretch goal of music mixing, although that was a decision we came on to around December 14th. We've also solidified more of our architecture as well as the risk assessment documentation. So, aside from setting up our work environments in Node.js, TypeScript, and Python, we've been working very heavily to get a working application to demo. So, before going into everyone else, we'll individually discuss what we worked on. Throughout the last month, I worked on reading from our JSON library, or building a JSON library that we can read from, as well as placeholder code written for display purposes. The JSON data was written to a series of classes or objects which were labeled types that would represent songs, features, and library data. So we have feature, library data, and results data. Moving on. I also wrote some suggestion data classes for our suggestion, things like that, for calling Python scripts, which currently return fake data but this is the format that they should be returning suggestions in, which enabled us to prove that we can produce results, or produce a results page. This attempts to follow our architecture, which is things like suggestion with song, suggestion with feature, all branching from suggestion, as well as the same, except now library data stores song features, and filter spec has not been built yet. So we are trying to follow the outlined architecture that we designed for. And I think that brings us to what Brian has been working on.
I think I already mentioned about
sorry.
my working. Yeah.
In that case, you can go ahead, Brendan.
All right, you want to flip back to the slides there?
Yeah, I apologize.
All right. So I guess our initialization was already covered by Brian. If you could go down to the machine learning slide. All right. So basically, what I've been working on is finally got TensorFlow up and going on Anaconda, and training and our iteratively training and improving upon the model, and testing the output to ensure its quality. Also, a little hurdle that I've come across is the size of the training sample library that we have to train our machine learning model off of. So I'm trying to find a few ways to improve upon the size of that library, and chasing a few things down. And also, I'm researching how to improve the key extraction feature. One of the good leads that we have so far is first building a chromograph or spectrogram, and then using that as the input to some sort of machine learning, and getting a potentially higher quality output than just feeding the MP3 directly into the machine learning model.
Awesome. So I think that brings us to the ability to show off some of our work. So I'm going to run a quick demo. So we had some placeholder images here, but effectively what the user does is selects a folder to choose from, or selects from a folder. Say you have a library of Aerosmith songs. At the moment, it doesn't show up. I believe that's associated to the bug mentioned by Brian. But upon submitting, we do automatically load the library that would be built had we properly read songs. And just proof of results is that if I select song 2 and I submit it, we get the results type in our suggestion class. So suggestion class comes with, first you give it input, and then it gets results. And in that we can display in our results page what input was used and what results were used. So that is kind of what we're designing for. And I'm quite happy with, or quite confident that that will improve our development speed. That, I think, summarizes what we have so far, although a lot of it is kind of mainly under the hood. Going into what's on the horizon, following your goals set in January, we hope to have initialization and suggestion working from start to finish. That is without actual logic happening in Python. So we hope to have the steps built in that enables a user to set up the song directory, read songs, make a selection, and view placeholder results. The proper feature extraction and recommendation steps were already meant for February's MVP. So reiterating, completed initiation, validation, generation of song library, and results. As
All right.
sorry, I have to talk about what I'll be working on. As for me,
Sure,
I'll be working on writing JSON data during the initialization and reading song names in Python. I'll probably depend on the directory being set by the initiation file. And once this is complete, we should be able to reintroduce more Python efforts.
Alrighty, so on the horizon for machine learning is just continuing to improve upon the model and making small tweaks to improve the quality of our extracted features. Also going to be working on Mason into integrating the model properly into the back end and stamping out any bugs that might be associated with that.
And Brian, what's next for you?
Yeah. Next task for mine will be some refactoring on initializing page and following up of the result and filter page by adding design components after the generation of the library. And the playback component used in the result filter page. The playback function would be in the page or pop-up. Yeah, that's all.
So this is a quick look at our roadmap. As you can see, we have faced delays, but I think we've made some good catch-up. And I think we'll be done a lot sooner than anticipated, or sooner than after the delays anticipated.
All right, so I guess I'll go over the group reflection. So the first thing is, do we feel that we are on track? We had some delays regarding MVP 1, and we are obviously a couple weeks behind where we would like to be. But also the other side of that coin is that we are making catching up a faster progress than we thought it would be initially. So that is good, and we hope to catch up to where we had hoped to be initially in the next couple of weeks. Are there any barriers to our access? As Brian mentioned, there was the unexpected error of the path name conventions. And also, as I mentioned, we are improving the key extraction feature. But other than that, I feel like we're in pretty good shape as far as knowledge. Do we need any help going forward? We might be in contact with Dr. Yao to get an insight on how to tweak our model to improve our feature extraction. And also, we may be making an appointment with Dr. Morgan to discuss testing our application when it's more close to its final stage. And any other questions or concerns, we're always open to commentary. It's absolutely great. And we would love some on our pace, certainly. And if we should make any tweaks to what we're currently doing.
Thank you, Brandon. I think that thoroughly summarizes what we've been working on throughout January. Here is our GitHub. Added to this final page is also our GitHub website. If you would like to go check that out, it's very simple, but it's there. We also have the stories on board and the current roadmap. If you would like to access that final link, you will need to, I believe, ask for permission from myself, so I can do that. But yes, that is our GitHub. It is up to date, and we're very confident in bringing you more these next couple weeks. Thank you, and have a wonderful rest of your week, everyone.